Hey guys, welcome to my channel. Today I'm gonna show you how I color a cartoon character in Procreate, and this video will be divided into two parts. So in the first one I'm gonna show you how I apply basic colors, and in the second one we are gonna apply shadows and lights to our portrait. I'm gonna be using the sketch that I've made in my previous tutorial, which was about sketching. You can find it right here. You'll also be able to find part 2 there once it's released. And I'm using a canvas with 3000 pixels by 3000 pixels, and I already refined my sketch. So basically I just cleaned up the lines and created a new layer on top of it, of my old sketch, to make this drawing cleaner and more understandable for me. So the first step is to put the layer in multiply mode, and also I changed the color of the sketch to red because it blends better with the other colors that I'm gonna apply. Let's create a new group and call it base colors. So on the first layer with the standard brush ink bleed, I'm gonna outline this silhouette of my character. Usually I use kind of orangey, reddish, really light color for the skin, but we can change it later. So just outline the whole character first. I'm gonna speed it up because it's quite boring. I'm just outlining everything. And don't worry about outlining some individual's hair that we drew. We will add them later. So then color drop the color into the shape, and because we used a brush with a kind of rough edge, it creates this kind of gaps when you color drop the color. So you have to manually just go through this line once again with a brush and fix the edges. It's a bit boring, but you have to do it if you want some rough edges. In the next step, I add some small and loose hairs to the outline on the same layer. So I just get a chalk brush, which is a standard Procreate brush in the calligraphy section, and I just add a few hairs here and there. I already sketched some of them, as you can see, so I basically use them as a guide. Just play around with the brush and sometimes make it smaller, sometimes make it bigger, and to make the shape look interesting. I remove my sketch to see if everything is balanced, and I can add some more hair to the left side, which was a bit less detailed. So what I'm gonna do next is change the color a little bit because it's too orange. To do that, alpha lock the layer. You can do it by swiping 2 fingers to the right side, and you can fill the layer with a new color. And then I create a new layer on top of it and add it as a clipping mask, so we will not go over our silhouette shape, and it will be easy to add hair, then the eyes, and so on. For the hair, I'm gonna use some reddish color, probably kind of ginger. For now it doesn't matter, I'm just gonna go for this reddish tone, and then I can see once I color everything in, I'll be able to see how it looks and I can easily change the colors. So I do the same thing. I outline my hair, but only inside the silhouette. I don't need to outline anything else outside of it. So once you've outlined the silhouette, I will just remove the clipping mask to show you how it works. So when you outline, you have to create a shape and close it. Then you can color drop the color and just add the clipping mask back in. And this way we have a perfect shape, but again I have to fix the edges, but only inside the silhouette. And now I get the chalk brush again and add some loose hairs here and there. This kind of hair creates more movement. It's time to add the sweater, so I'm gonna go back to the ink bleed brush and create a new layer. I'm gonna go to the color wheel and see the complementary color to the hair, and it turns out to be this kind of bluish color, but you don't have to pick exactly the color that Procreate shows you. You can just use the same hue but change the saturation, brightness. For example, I don't want to use a saturated color for the sweater. I'm just gonna use this bluish tone, but make it kind of desaturated and dark. And later I'll probably change it. I add a new layer and I'm gonna start coloring the eyebrows with a color that is a bit darker than my hair. And I use a standard 6B pencil brush for that. I like the texture that it creates for the eyebrows. On top of everything, it doesn't have to be a clipping mask anymore. I will add the eyelashes. I just like to add them on top of the hair. I don't know if it makes sense, but for me it looks more interesting this way. So with the 6B pencil, I add eyelashes. On a new layer, I'm gonna add the eyes, and I never use pure white color, so try to use some color that is really close to white, but not pure white. Just like pure black, it's better not to use these colors in your illustration. Try to use some variations of them. Then on a new layer, I'm gonna add the iris. I'm gonna use some greenish tone, like really desaturated one. You can create a perfect shape by holding your pencil when you draw a circle, and then you can easily edit your ellipse or circle and fill it with the color you would like. And to create the pupils, I simply duplicate the layer of the iris and I color it to a really dark color, but again, not pure black. Something really close to black that looks like it, but it's not pure black. And I just use a transform tool to change the size of the pupils. And just make sure that they are of the same size. And the next step is to add the lips. I usually take the skin color and choose a darker, more saturated reddish tone. I think I have to change the shape a little bit. It doesn't look really symmetrical. I also don't use a purely white background, so I play around with a few colors. I usually use a really light beige or something like that. So for now, let's keep it this way. And I think I want to change the color of the lips because it's too similar to the hair. I use hue, saturation and brightness tool to do that. So I play around a little bit. I want to make the lips darker than the hair. And I want to change the color of this shirt or sweater, I don't know. It doesn't really look so great to me, so I just play around with hue, saturation and brightness again. Sometimes it takes a while to find the right color and you have to try a few different options. Eventually, I just choose a kinda light beige color for my t-shirt. And I want to change the color of the hair a little bit. Oh, I really like this beige for the t-shirt. It looks nice. A really great tip to check if your colors look right is to create a layer with a color mode and then fill it in with a completely black color. This way you will see your drawing in black and white and you can check the values. The most important thing is that no colors blend together, you know? Like if everything is too dark or too bright, the colors will not look nice. They will kind of blend into each other and not stand out. In my case, it looks good. There is enough contrast, but I don't like the color of the background again, so I'm gonna try to change it a little bit. The next step is to create a layer on top of the skin, but underneath everything that we've drawn, and take a skin color, but make it more reddish and dark as well. and with a soft grain brush, it's a brush from a free pack, which I'll link in the description, you can add some blush on the cheeks. So just try to play around with the size of the brush and the opacity as well. Add a little bit on the cheeks and some on the ear. And also try to see which opacity works better for you. And on a new layer, again in the multiply mode, I select with a free hand, I select the shape of the nose. And then I add some feather, which will soften the shape and not leave really sharp edges. So like a few percent for the nose. And then with the same brush in a smaller size, I add blush to the nose. And I want to erase some blush from the ear. I want to leave it only on the upper part of the ear. A few last refinements. I'm gonna pick the color of the eyes, get a darker color, and I want to create a gradient. So starting from the eyelashes, I'm gonna create a darker color. So kind of like a gradient from darker to lighter color of the iris. And the same with the lips. The upper lip is usually darker. You can color pick the color, make it darker, and apply it to the upper lip. And the last thing that I do is I separate the hair layer from my silhouette, because later it will be easier to add clipping masks to the hair and so on. So for this, I select this silhouette, then press invert and clear the layer with the hair. This way, everything that is outside of the silhouette will be cleared. So this way I have my clean hair without attaching it as a clipping mask to the silhouette. I hope that makes sense. And I also create a gradient, so I choose a darker color and apply it to the fringe and upper part of the hair, also behind the neck. And I take a lighter color and kind of apply it to the tips of the hair. I check all the layers if everything looks right to me. In this stage I can change the colors, check the contrast. So that's all that I do for my base colors. And in the next video I'm gonna show you how I apply shadows and lights to this portrait. So stay tuned for that. It will be released next week. And thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it and found it useful. And I'll see you in the next video. Bye guys!